Welcome to the Pink Sphere podcast. This is your 30 minutes of pink, your weekly space to pause, breathe, and tune into something that might just change the way you think about yourself. And in today's episode, we have Jill. Once again, she is a family sleep educator at the Pink Sphere, and we're going to dive in to the topics of sleep, motherhood, and the myth of rest. Hi, Jill. Thank you for joining me today. How are you?
Hi Nadine, I'm well, thank you. Thank you for having me.
I'm so excited because this topic really interests me. And I'll just jump right into my first question, if that's okay with you.
Yes, great.
So it feels like somewhere along the line, tiredness become part of what it means to be a good mom. Almost like if you're not constantly pushing yourself, you're not doing enough. Why do you think motherhood and exhaustion become so intertwined? Is it because of cultural expectations, unrealistic parenting ideals, or the invisible pressure women feel to prove their love through self sacrifice?
So I think it's both cultural and even
Yeah.
something really new that
Hmm.
made it worse. For example, if you think people living in the 1800s, there was no
Hmm.
phones, no TVs, so there was not an external expectation. But still, you should show, for example, your mother-in-law that you were a good mom, your own
Yeah.
mother that you are doing a good job, your neighbors. Okay, there is
Hmm.
always the outside reference, and we
Hmm.
make the value ourselves in the way the other see us. This push us to do a lot more and do not admit fatigue. And today we have the added layer of social media. So, for example, I in the previous recording we spoke about the importance to not stay on the phone during the night feeds because not only
Yeah.
that impact the sleep, but the point is that you have these mothers that are very tired. They are scrolling on their social media, and what do they see on this social media? They see perfect houses, all clean,
Absolutely.
with
Yeah.
the perfect because of course you as um, influencer, you record yourself at your best when you are with all the
Absolutely.
makeup
Yeah.
and your children are
Hmm.
behaving. And if they don't behave, you just stop recording, you cut the part. But
Hmm.
an exhausted mother see only that the other are successful and they are not. So
Yeah.
it's this is why I think um, fatigue is so connected with motherhood, and it's getting worse instead of getting better because mothers also have less help. In the past was a little bit different and there was a little bit
It
more
was.
of a help from close relatives. Now every family is alone and all the mothers are alone and they don't have any help. So there
Yeah.
is all these things that the expectation, they have to be a good mother, they have to be good professionals, they have to be good friends, and they have to do this beautiful picture to show other people that they are good, and they have to do it all
Absolutely.
by themselves. And sleep
Yeah.
it's the thing that gets pushed back.
Yeah, yeah. And talking about social media and what we see there, there's so much noise and judgment around baby sleep, like schedules, sleep training, feeding patterns, and all the unsolicited advice. What does realistic baby sleep actually look like in that first year? What are normal wake ups, rhythms, and regressions that parents should expect?
Thank you very much for this question because the point is that, as you said, mothers look as for information on social
Yeah.
media, and you said one powerful information comes from the American pediatrics that says
Hmm.
that babies do not sleep over 6 hours until they are 9 months old, and even then, 40% of the 9 months old they don't still sleep 6 hours. The expectation are created watching people that are having, for example, everyone has an experience, and there is the one that gets a good experience, very easy one, and there are the difficult one. And people that are having difficult experience usually do not share. So all these mothers are just comparing information to families that having easy time, but the reality,
Hmm.
you can find it in the studies, is that baby do not sleep through the night. And even the definition of through the night, because if you ask a person, what does it mean to sleep through the night? Someone will
Yeah.
answer that it's from 7 to 7, while sleeping through the night scientifically is when a baby sleeps more than 6 hours. Just 6 hours, not 12. And we expected that only after 9 months old. So this is what expect, and then it's not a linear improving like, oh, the
Hmm.
first month they sleep 1 hour, and then the second month 2 hours, and then 3 hours.
Yeah.
Is
Yeah.
not a line of improvement. It's more like going up and down, because you
Yeah.
have teething, they get the flu, and then they get the sleep regression,
It's all mixed up. Yeah.
and it's all mixed up. Yeah. So my suggestion is never to look online for information, and not from like just. It's always good
Random.
to,
Yeah.
because I know is beautiful to compare yourself to another mom to see, to feel connected, but at the same
Hmm.
time you should trust more a professional, and not just another mom
Hmm.
that says, I did
Yeah.
like this, it worked.
I have to be honest with my son. He was a very poor sleeper. Um, I felt like all the baby sleep educators, coaches, consultants, I don't know, everyone I checked, I thought they didn't have kids. You know, I was thinking if they had kids, they wouldn't have said this because my son's not sleeping, whatever I do. And, every baby and every parent, just like you said, is different. But the parenting world is full of one size fits all methods that often make people feel like they're failing, just like I felt. Um, and one thing you do, I know that one thing you do is offering advice or solutions um, that are specific to that parent that you're talking to. How do you think that parents can find an approach that truly fits them, something that feels respectful, manageable, and aligned with their values? And what questions should they ask themselves before deciding what kind of sleep support or method to use? This was a long one. I'm sorry,
No,
but
no worries, no
I
worries.
don't know.
I want to start saying that there is a study of
Hmm.
2022 from Journal of Pediatrics Psychology that says that
Okay.
personalized plans work 40% more effectively. So if you go for one size fits all, because you read a book or because you are following someone on Instagram, it may not be successful. You need a personalized plan, not only external from a professional, but even yourself. If you don't want to reach out for a professional because maybe you don't have the means, still you have to look to understand your specific case, because it's very important to tune to your own family. So a one size fits all, like even the Feber method, where you let the children cry it out, it can't work, because it can be successful on specific kids, and it can be also traumatic. I never suggest that. Or the fading chair, there is another technique where you push the chair away
Hmm.
from the child, from the bed of the child. But it's not personalized, because it does not keep in count of baby personality, or
Yeah.
family exhaustion, because if you have a family that is already exhausted, you don't want to add on that another task.
Hmm.
And it does not take in counting like their dynamic or their rhythm. For example, one size fits all says that all children should go to sleep at 7, but what if a
Yeah.
family has both parents working until 8 p.m.? It can't be the same for everyone. So personalized plans are very helpful, and I do
Hmm.
understand that sometimes it's difficult, because it's family have to invest in this.
Yeah.
uh, at the same time, I think that nowadays in a society where there is a lots of consumism, where people buy lots of clothes to show their wealth, I think
Yeah.
it's a very good investment to invest in our health, and sleep is
Hmm.
part of our health. So
Yeah.
searching for a professional is something that I suggest.
Booking a session with you at the Pink
Yeah,
Sphere is the best option, right?
it's something that people can try, even because we offer the 15 minutes trial. Like
Yeah,
people can even just don't buy immediately, but see the difference in these 15 minutes. How do they feel? And
yeah,
and no one will judge you if you have the 15 minutes and then you don't buy the product, because we are here even to show you the benefits.
absolutely. Yeah. And one thing I also want to mention is what happens in a relationship after you have a baby, right? Some relationships begin to fade because of all the responsibilities, like partners start to drift apart. I've seen lots of amazing couples who had these amazing marriages, but after having a kid, they started to drift apart. And partners often want help, but don't know how, or they think practical help alone is enough. From your experience, what kind of support truly helps a mother who's exhausted beyond word? Is it about sharing night shifts or taking over some duties, emotional validation? I don't know, or learning to just really see what that exhaustion does to her mind.
Yes.
I don't know.
First of all, I want to say that I saw your last podcast with Jada, so I
Yeah,
suggest people to have a look at that, to work with their relationship.
yeah,
And specifically with sleep, what I see is that first and foremost, the most important thing is communication, because
hmm,
you have these mothers that are resentful to their partners, but they never
yeah,
actually asked what they needed. They were just
yeah,
waiting for the partner understanding, like light bulb.
yeah.
Oh, I
But it
can
doesn't
do that.
happen. Yeah,
But if you
yeah,
don't ask, the other person does not know what you need. He may even be doing something and he thinks that he's helping you, but it's not what you need. Communication from the mother part is very important, but also communication from the partner part, because sometimes even the partner is resentful because he thinks that he's helping, and if he don't says, "Do you want help? How can I help you?" he will not know what to do, and he feels
yeah.
resentful because he does not feel able to do it. Many fathers feels that they are not up to the job. They feel unsure because since the
Hmm.
mothers usually take all the load, and when they
Yeah,
have this baby, they say, "Oh, I can't put the baby to sleep because I don't know how to do it. He will never sleep with me." And the fact that the mother never steps back and lets the father even fail, and baby
yeah,
goes asleep in 1 hour, 2 hours, but they don't give it the try. So communication from both parts is like the stepping stone. Then
hmm,
of course you may want specific suggestion. We are here to give some little advice, and there is not a golden way for the partner to support their wives,
yeah,
the mothers, because as I said, every family is different and every person is different. Every mother has different needs. But I
yeah,
will just do some examples. For example, there are people that are night owls that likes to stay awake more in the night, and there are people
hmm,
that are larks that wake up very early. So, for example, if the husband is a night owl, one suggestion could be that the mother goes to sleep with the baby, and the father, since he stays awake until late, he can handle the first awakening, like around the midnight. At the contrary, if the father is a early lark, what he can do is that he wakes up early at 5 a.m. and handles all the awakenings after 5 a.m. and let the mother sleep until 7
a little more. Yeah,
undisturbed. Or if you have a partner that is willing to take charge during the weekends, because I understand that if the mother is a stay-at-home mom and the father is a working parent, of course he wants to be well rested during the weekdays. But what they can do is that during the weekend, on Friday night and Saturday night, is the father that take care of all night of the baby, because during the
yeah,
day he can catch up. These are all possible suggestions, and there is not one perfect. It depends on the family,
Yeah.
and even the same family can try different things and see what it works for them.
Yeah. It's all about communicating in a healthy way and finding a schedule that works for the both of them, right? And you mentioned resentment, right? So many women, so many mothers quietly carry the resentment, not specifically towards their child, but towards that situation, the imbalance, the exhaustion that never ends. Yet when they even think about expressing it, the guilt rushes in. Why is it so hard for mothers to say, I'm burnt out or I feel unseen? And how can they begin to talk about these emotions safely, both with themselves and with the people around them?
Okay, the why I think is tied with our first question. Like there is
Hmm.
so much outside reference about our self worth that
Yeah.
we don't want to admit that we are struggling because it's seen as a failure. So if we admit that we are resentful, we may admit that we are not good enough. So this is
Hmm.
why we don't want to admit outside. And sadly, mothers are not totally wrong to be scared of this, because if you think some kind of interaction, you can have a mother that is struggling, and then they share with, I don't know, a relative, a mother-in-law, or their own mother, and sometimes the answer can be, "Oh, I did it," uh, and that's it. Everyone does it,
Yeah.
even in the struggle. Why you are even complaining? So sometimes it's not safe to share in your um, proximal relationships. So what is my suggestion to share in a safe environment is to find
Hmm.
like-minded people, join a group, for example, local moms. You can join a
Yeah.
group of local moms. Usually what happens is they are around your same age, so they have the same struggle as you. They are at the
Hmm.
same stage with their babies. Usually they have baby at the same age as yours, so they may understand you. And if you can't find anything online, you can find an online community. So if you can't find anything local, you can find an online community like Pink Sphere,
Yeah.
and you can find support from people that are like-minded, and they will listen
Hmm.
without judgment.
Yeah. We actually started this WhatsApp group just recently, and there are lots of amazing women who joined all over the world, and they're asking questions, they're helping each other, supporting each other, and really shows how big of an impact the community has. And if there are any moms listening to us today, they're more than welcome to join us, join the WhatsApp community that we built. And like you said, we live in a culture that glorifies productivity, right? Where rest almost feels like a guilty pleasure. But what if we could see it as something essential, like, I don't know, the fuel that allows everything else to function? How can we help women reframe rest as a sign of power and self respect rather than something to be earned only after everything else is done?
I always make a comparison to
Hmm.
when you go to the plane and they show the safety procedures, and they
Yeah.
always show you to when there is the oxygen mask, to put the oxygen mask before on yourself and then to the
Yeah,
children,
that's so true.
because if you
Yeah.
pass out, you are not able anymore to help anyone, and sleep is
Hmm.
like that. Sleep is your oxygen, important
Hmm.
as is the oxygen, and you need it before you give to the others. Since,
Yeah.
as you said in your question, we see a lot of our self worth as a productivity, but you can't be productive if you're tired. So you have to see it as, if you in the morning, there are people that do to do lists because they have so many things to do. And one of my
Hmm.
suggestion is add the sleep in your to do list, because it's one task that you should do. It's important
That's so
as
true.
doing the laundry, because you need clean clothes. And it's important because you prepare food to your kids to feed them to survive. And it's important, so you put it in your to do list as a task to be sure to not
Hmm.
forget. Seems silly,
Yeah.
but some people that are so task oriented can be helpful. to put in a task
Hmm.
because it's very important. It's one of the things that you do for your family. You cook for your family, you clean your house for your family, you sleep for your family.
Yeah, so true. Yeah, the oxygen example was so on point. It's so great. Thank you. Thank you for sharing that. But it's also fascinating how many mothers say that even when their children start sleeping, say through the night, they still can't. Their body stay in this alert mode. Their minds replay to-do lists for the next day or worries, almost as if rest feels unsafe. Why does that hypervigilance linger long after the baby years? And what does it take to calm the nervous system back into safety? And maybe here we could try something together, like a really simple breathing exercise that everyone listening can do right now. I think it was called the 478 technique.
Yes,
What was
yes,
it? Yeah.
correct. So the point is that sometimes insomnia is a
Yeah.
learned pattern because since you woke up so many times during the baby stage, what happens is that when the baby starts sleeping, your body has learned to wake, and it will fade out, but it will take time.
Yeah.
And if this does not happen, then you may want to try some cognitive behavioral therapy,
Hmm.
specifically for insomnia, so
Yeah.
CBTI. There are professionals that can do that. I'm not one of them, but there are professionals that can support mothers, even fathers, anyone that are struggling with insomnia. Basically, this therapy has few steps. I will share here some of them. I'm not a
Hmm.
therapist of that, so this is not
Yeah.
substitute of medical advice. I'm just
Yeah.
informing people. For example, one of the steps is sleep restriction, meaning you don't stay in bed more than you sleep. If you sleep 6 hours, you aim to stay in bed no more than 6 and 30 minutes. 6 hours and
Hmm.
30 minutes. You don't stay in bed just for the sake of staying in bed.
Yeah.
Then stimulus control, which is you go in the bed only to sleep. You don't do anything else. You don't scroll on the phone. You don't watch TV. You don't read a book. You just tie the bed space only as a space to sleep and doing nothing else.
Hmm.
And then there is the importance of the sleep hygiene education. We touched on that on our previous podcast, but just as a reminder, the room needs to be of a specific temperature.
Yeah.
You don't drink coffee after a certain time. You are sure to expose yourself to natural light in the morning. You do physical
Hmm.
activity. You don't eat processed food in the evening. So all these
Yeah.
things compound in helping you with your insomnia. And then there are the relaxation techniques, the breathing, which is the 474 that you were talking about. So if we want to try together, so you inhale for 4 seconds, you hold for seven, and then you exhale for eight. Correct. And then you
Yes.
do that two, 3 times before you
Hmm.
lay down, before you are try to close your eyes and fall asleep.
Yeah.
And this
Can
is
you? Yeah, sorry. I was just about to ask, can you show that technique to your kids? Like not your babies, but kids.
sure.
Would it
This
help?
is effective to everybody. Breathing exercise is widely known as a relaxation technique.
Yeah.
It can be done not only for sleeping. If you feel anxious in a
Hmm.
setting like before going to school, before a video call,
Hmm.
you can do that to relax yourself, and you
Yeah.
can use it on yourself. You can show it to your children. You can show to your partner if you think it can be helpful.
Thank you, Gelsomina, for the technique, the breathing technique, and all the other important bits that you shared and reminded us the previous episodes that we recorded together. I have another question for you. You know how other people keep telling you, just get used to it, in a few months, your baby will sleep, you know, I don't know. There is this misconception that it will pass, or the mothers are just being dramatic? What would you want people to really understand?
So, um, waiting it out is a suggestion often given because, in a kind of way, is true. Children are naturally growing and then they improve in their sleep. But wait it
Hmm.
out is not better than the cried out.
Yeah.
Exception, you can't have or all hands on the baby and you force the baby to
Hmm.
sleep, or the other one, like I have to suffer, not complain, and just like keep going. Is you can
Hmm.
do something. So this is a misconception, sorry, misconception that you have to do either way. A perfect
Hmm.
way is to try something personalized because
Yeah.
um, you don't have to struggle by yourself. Having support with sleep means this, even emotional support, even understanding of your situation and feeling validated is part
Yeah.
of a professional process. Like when you reach
Yeah.
out for a professional, they will give you practical suggestion, but they also will make you understand that you don't have to wait it out. You can do some things to improve the sleep without being
Yeah.
so forceful, like can be the cried out. So
Yeah.
it's very,
Absolutely.
very important for mothers understanding that they don't have to endure anything because it's not normal not
Yeah.
sleeping for a long time. Mothers sleep. There is a study, I think it's 2023, that says that mothers have roughly 4 to 5 hours of sleep per night for the first year. They don't sleep more than 5 hours per night. And even those 5 hours are very fragmented.
Yeah.
This impacts a lot on health of women, and we don't want to wait it out because it's not
Hmm.
safe for women health. Impacts the mood,
Yeah.
impacts the health, impacts focus, impacts the ability to stay calm in situation and handle your children. So you
Hmm.
don't want to wait it out. You want to
Yeah.
take actionable steps. The important is that they are the right steps in the right direction and don't
Absolutely.
go to compound to the stress that you already are living as a mother.
Yeah. Yeah. That was something I heard from so many people, especially with my son. They kept telling me, wait until he's 6 months old, wait until he's, a year old, and he's 5 years old now. Things are just getting calmer, manageable. So, yeah, you're so right. Yeah.
Yes,
And I want to
the
ask,
point is, sorry
yeah.
if I interrupt you. Sometimes you said in your recording, like sometimes you were following people on social media and you felt like
Hmm.
these were people that did not have children. In my
Yeah.
point of view is that even other moms, they have different experiences. So even if they are professional
Absolutely.
that give suggestion and they are also mothers, they not necessarily have experienced your struggles. So even if they are
Hmm.
empathetic, sometimes they can't see really your struggles. And
Yeah.
instead, I was talking to a friend of mine that my struggles, every time that I speak with other parents, looks like mine was the worst case scenario. So I can relate almost to everybody because, as your
Yeah.
son, we spoke in private. Our children history with sleep is very similar, so I can
Yes.
relate to you. Like I do understand that it took a long time, and even if you say to
Hmm.
a parent you have to wait that it's 5 years, at the same time, you know that you did little actionable steps to improve
Hmm.
sleep because sometimes it's not only to make the child sleep, but even how do you handle the
Hmm.
awakenings.
Yeah.
Because if you want your child to sleep in another room and every time that he wakes up, you have to do the travel back and forth, your sleep is very disrupted. So in these cases, for example, when we can't achieve a better sleep because there are other factors in play, my suggestion is always, okay, we can't control that. What we can control, how we handle,
Absolutely.
how we can make things easier during the night wakes. Is better that the child has a toddler bed in your room, so you don't have to
Hmm.
travel in the house, for example, and and be cold in winter and all these
Yeah.
kind of things. So is
Yeah.
these are my suggestions.
Find your solutions.
And there is this misconception, like when you speak with a sleep consultant, you expect they saying, "Oh, the baby needs to sleep by themselves in the room. You don't have
Yeah.
interrupt,
Yeah.
because otherwise you spoil the baby." That's the biggest
That's the
lie
yes.
of the
Yes.
century.
Yes.
Um,
Yeah.
Children are children for a very short amount of time, and they really need contact with parents. And you want to build this trusting relationship with children,
Yeah.
and you don't want to push them away. You are not doing anything to harm their future autonomy if you are
Yeah.
supporting their sleep when they are little, because the
Absolutely.
future autonomy is not that.
Hmm.
A child feels free to explore the world if they have a secure base to go back to, and the
Yeah.
family is the secure base, and you are not spoiling them or ruining them by holding their hand. I do understand,
Yeah.
though, that can be like very hard on parents. So just find the right balance. If you have a baby that you were used to rock to sleep until it was 9 kilograms, and now that it's 12 kilograms, it's too hard, you have all the right to change. But
Hmm.
instead, if it's not hard on you and you enjoy rocking, just keep going. If you have a
Yeah.
child that you have to hold the hands to make them fall asleep, and if you do that, they fall asleep in 10 minutes, and then you can do whatever you want afterwards. Just keep doing it. Instead, if it
Yeah.
takes 1 hour, 2 hours, then you may want to do some change. So until it works, there is nothing bad in the way parents
Yeah.
put their children to sleep. When it
Absolutely.
stops working, then it's the moment that you want to try some changes.
Yeah, yeah, so true. And I was just about to ask you for a myth, but I think you answered that. So thank you. And thank you for all the amazing answers. And it was lovely talking to you. And that's it for today's 30 minutes of Pink. And if this episode spoke to you, hit subscribe, share your questions for Gelsomina or for me in the comments, and share it along someone who needs to hear this. So thank you so much for listening and see you next time.
See you. Bye.